All right, y'all, this is it. Last week, last dialogue. And we're talking about synthesizing, going all the way back to the very beginning. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to be a professional counselor? What does it mean to be a counselor educator? How do we synthesize this, right? So that's my question. How do we synthesize it, right? And I'll just start off. I think the hardest part about being a counselor educator is it is a different role than a professional counselor. So, like, you have to do multiple things at the same time. So, like, just the other day, right, I have a student that I care very deeply about, and I think that they would be great. And right now, the work it's just too much on them right now. And so, like, on one hand, like, I don't want to be the one to, like, tell someone they can't do something. And on the other, oh, wait a second, that is our role as a counselor educator, to be the gatekeepers. Yeah. So, like, as a professional counselor, I'm the one that likes to empower. I'm the one that likes to go ahead and, like, believe in folks and, like, just put that belief behind people. But as a counselor educator, I also have to safeguard, and I take that responsibility of future clients. And that's where it comes into conflict for me. And those are hard to integrate sometimes. I don't know. What thoughts are coming up for you all? Go.
Yeah, I think for me, if when you were talking about gatekeeping, that was immediately what came to my mind as far as split, when I maybe feel the most split, is in gatekeeping, because the role of a counselor is so different, is that I don't provide evaluation of my clients, and I don't I don't give them a grade or tell them that they can or can't do this or that. But in my role as an educator, there is a piece of that, and I think owning that piece. And so it's definitely still a challenge and still a growth edge for me of leaning into that part of, there's evaluation and feedback to be provided, and that's part of my role as a counselor educator to protect the profession, and to uphold the integrity of the profession, and put out just like, and for the good of the student as well. Ultimately, I hope that that's the case. But I think for me, that centering of the client still, even though the client is not in the room when I'm providing evaluation or I'm working on my grades, but still having the client at the center of my mind as far as, this student going out into the world and interacting with suffering people. Mm-hmm. And am I okay with that? And so I think that's one of the ways that I try to, I don't know if counteract is maybe quite the right word, but like at least address maybe when I'm feeling a little bit more split than integrated.
Yeah, for me, just when I feel that I'm integrated this may sound a bit strange, but when I'm in the classroom, I do know, because I've done groups, I get 30 years, there is something that, there's something similar, if you will. There's something that I find that utilizing group skills can be very, very helpful in a classroom. And, I'll notice somebody who's sitting in the back and they always tell me, oh, I'm taking notes. Well, you're on Amazon right now,
Buy me something.
Right. So how do you pull these people back in? And that's things that we learn in group. How do I integrate them back into the classroom, move them into the classroom? So I actually have over the years used certain techniques that I will use in group that I will use in a classroom when I find that they're getting a little bleary-eyed and probably tired of listening to me. So so that's the integrated piece, and I really like what you said. I also agree that there's that other part when you do feel sort of separated. Yeah.
Can I? What are your thoughts on this? Just to brag about Regis for a second, because we're awesome, right? One thing that I think is unique about us is that. Well, right now, every single person on our faculty, as I speak today, is fully licensed as a professional counselor. And I think every single person is seeing clients or have recently saw clients, right? Yeah. And I've been places where, like, there weren't folks licensed and folks that really haven't practiced. And so I'm curious, students right now that are, in this doctoral program, how does practicing as a professional counselor, how does that influence your work? That's one question. The next question is, do you feel like truly, and when you think about this, do you have to be a good professional counselor in order to be a good counselor educator?
Going off that, I think for me, what has been really helpful is in my classes before the class starts, I do check-in with the students. Check-in helps to know where they are and how can I support them. And it's just the same way we do with clients, to check in with the client to see how they're doing, how's they been since the last time you saw them, and things like that. So it helps to assess where the client is, and that also helps me in the classroom to assess where are my students, where do they need support, and things like that. So I think, going back to your question, to be a good counselor educator, practicing in the field is important because it helps you to bring the field into the classroom to help the students know that, okay, this is real, this is what I do. And you bring those experiences into the classroom to help the students. And that helps prepare them ahead for what they will be doing because they see you doing it and talking about it in class. And that's my point. You need to have both.
And if I could just give you props, because you graduated with your PhD, you moved to Colorado, like a new kind of environment from the South. And then you're getting used to kind of being a counselor educator, teaching classes that's all on you, and you're working on your license. It's easy to just be like, well, I'll just focus on this. You did do it all. Was it worth it?
It was.
It was, okay.
It was.
I was ready for you to be like, no. No.
It was because, when one of the main passion that I had into going to do my PhD was I wanted to be able to help prepare the next counselors. And in order to do that, I have to have my license because I need to know what's going on in the field. How can I bring that into the session, into the classroom rather, to help the student? Because like I said earlier on, the textbook is good. Yeah, it's good. But you need the real life to complement what the textbook is saying. Because the textbook is written from a person's lens, their own perspective, their lens. So but when you bring in the real life experience into the classroom, it helps complement that.
And I think a value of that too is we make mistakes. And be able to bring in not just, oh yeah, I had this client and I did this and it worked out perfect. It's really valuable to go ahead and say, yeah, this is something that happened. And as I look back on it, this is something I could have done differently, perhaps. And I think people learn just as much from that as what you would call these great stories of how we change people's lives.
You got the hero's journey with all my stats. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with all of those things, and I think as we've talked about maybe in previous weeks, as the field is changing and it's constantly changing and evolving, and so I think that there's just something really important about keeping your hand in practice in some capacity. And I say that while also wanting to honor the time and all of the commitments and things of a counselor educator. And so I think that there's some space maybe systemically to help support that. And I do think that it's just so important to keep your hand in practice and supervision in some way, because when we have this is how we have doctors teach other doctors, is who are practicing. It's such a practice-based profession that it just feels really crucial to have your hand in it in some kind of way.
I'm just sitting here listening, and right now, I'm feeling a lot of gratitude. So right now for me, I'm in an administrative kind of role. I think maybe someone from my right or someone to my left will be my boss here in a year or two. but like I'm in this administrative role. There's meaning in being able to impact students in that. But now I'm also a counselor and educator. I'm teaching class here tonight. I love that. I have clients. I like absolutely love that, right? You know, we're going to talk about that research project around the multicultural, bringing in that model. We got that. Is it a lot? Yes. And like how meaningful it like really is, you know, to be able to do all that. And I don't know about you all, but like I don't feel nervous around like if, you know, my partner were to get moved somewhere else, I could go be a therapist, I could go be a school counselor, I could go be a counseling educator. I mean, I feel like
All around it.
right? Out of all the 5 jobs I'm doing right now, like I'm sure
You could just pick one.
I could just choose one, you know? So I guess as we end here, like give them some inspiration. They want to become counseling educators. Give them some inspiration of why they should continue to think about doing this.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, John, for putting this together, and it's been a real pleasure, actually. So
I've loved having you.
yeah, I think it's been really, it's been terrific. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Like Marty, what's so cool is like there's people that come back and they talk about like Marty, like from, you know, a decade ago. And like that's where I'm getting close to that. But like it's just, what is that like to know that you've had so much impact not only in clients' lives, but in students' lives who are doing therapy with people? What's that like?
Oh, you know, just looking back on it after all these years, yeah, I've actually had some time to think about it, you know, as I'm getting older and maybe at some point thinking about retirement. But I don't think I can retire fully from this. I mean, I love teaching on some level. Maybe it'll be an adjunct or affiliate, maybe therapy. But yeah, it's a big part of who I am, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be some changes coming down the road, but I think I can still hold on to that. And yeah, it means a lot, actually, and you all will get there, you know. You'll have your 30 years in or whatever, and I think you'll be in the same place.
Yeah.
So thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks for sharing that, Marty. I think I'm so grateful to be able to kind of be a colleague of yours and thinking about, I think, that ripple effect. And I think that's something that has inspired me as when I was a student and then thinking about like your just long career and the huge ripples that you've been able to impact, you know, within your clients, within all of your students and their clients, and, you know, all of the huge impacts that you've been able to make. And that's inspiring for me to be going forward into that as well. It's like there's a responsibility to that, but then what a huge privilege, like what an honor.
Right. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think an advice that or suggestion that I would give is that self-care, take care of yourself. Because you're getting your training to be counselor educators, you're working in the field as a licensed professional, your family, your personal life is there. So don't neglect, because you have different plates that you're juggling at the same time. Don't ever neglect yourself. Mm-hmm. Self-care is very important. Mm-hmm. Burnout is real. Mm-hmm. So yes, take care of yourselves.
And I just what I appreciate about you is like I know that you do that, you know, for yourself, but how you do that for others, constantly doing the check-in. You just embody like make sure that, you know, we're taking care of each other. It's cool. Y'all, it was really meaningful doing this. Thank you. And we'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, John.
Thank you, John.